Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of March 28th, 2019. The first item are the hearing minutes. At the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on March 14th, 2019. Any questions or comments on the hearing minutes? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 14th, 2019 PIC hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Moving on to our utility pole hearing. Our first item is on a joint petition by Verizon New England Inc. and Eversource Energy to relocate one utility pole on Shetland Street in Roxbury to be located on its southeasterly side at address number 13, generally northeast of Sherwood Court.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Sherry Story. I'm here on behalf of Verizon.
My name is Chanel Grant. I'm here on behalf of Eversource.
Verizon seeks the Commission's approval to on their petition for pole relocation on Shetland Street. They are asking for an order to relocate the pole 10 feet easterly on Shetland Street. The purpose of the request is to accommodate a curb cut for new construction at number 13 for access to that property.
Got it. So, sorry, it's moving from in front of 17 to in front of 13? Is that right?
It's currently in front of number 7.
It's in front of the same property.
Perfect.
Just moving.
Moving 10
slightly
foot,
in
right.
the, got it. Okay. Any questions or comments on this? No? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Make a motion to approve a joint petition by Verizon New England Incorporated and Eversource Energy to relocate one utility pole on Shetland Street, Roxbury, to be located on its southeasterly side at address number 13, generally northeast of Sherwood Court.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our public hearing item, continued on a petition by Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow and any electrical infrastructure within Fullerton Street in Boston proper, northwest of Brookline Avenue. This was new business on January 17th, 2019. Had its first public hearing on January 31st, 2019. And this is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Fullerton Street, one sheet dated January 2019.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Michael Gimo, for Verizon Wireless with John McGillicuddy. And we were here on the 31st and a continuance to get some information that the Commission had requested. We did try to coordinate design on Fullerton Street. That design hasn't been developed to a stage where they've even identified light pole locations or style of light poles. We spoke to them since the 31st, and they were not at a stage where it would be helpful to try to coordinate with them. This road, Brookline Avenue is about to be paved. We want to get ahead of the paving on Brookline Avenue, and so that's that aspect. We got some information that that Todd had requested to him in terms of manhole ownership and permissions.
And we got everything we needed sort of post the January hearing. We got everything we needed from the January hearing. All right. Other questions or comments on this one? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right. I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Make a motion to approve a petition by Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless for grant of location as directed by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Fullerton Street, one sheet dated January 2019.
Second.
All right. So moved.
Thank you very much.
Next item is on a petition by Cellco Partnerships doing business as Verizon Wireless for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow and electrical infrastructure within the following public ways in Roxbury/Dorchester. The locations are Melnia Cass Boulevard, generally between Sojourner Truth Court and Shawmut Avenue, and Tremont Street at St. Alphonsus Street. This was new business on January 17th, 2019, and had its first public hearing on January 31st, 2019. And this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Verizon Fiber, Boston, Mass, Melniak Boulevard, Tremont Street, 2 sheets, dated January 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to request a continuance on this one for another 2 meetings. The engineering design changes that you'd requested have not been done yet. And I know Todd and Amy, we're going to coordinate our engineer with them to get the information that he's looking for. We're hoping to be ready in 4 weeks.
Great. April 25th?
Thank you.
All right. Any questions or comments on the extension? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right. I'll entertain a motion to continue this item until the April 25th PIC meeting.
I'll make a motion to continue item PHC 2 until the April 25th meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, guys. Our next item is on a set of petitions by the Boston Planning and Development Agency for the discontinuance of any and all rights to travel the public may have had within portions of the following public ways in Boston proper: Marginal Road at the northeasterly corner of its intersection with Washington Street, and Broadway at the northeasterly corner of the intersection of Marginal Road and Washington Street. This was new business on January 17th, 2019, had its first public hearing on February 14th, 2019, had a public hearing continued on March 14th, 2019, and this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Discontinuance Plan, Marginal Road, Broadway, Boston proper, 2 sheets dated January 2019.
Good morning. Janet Carlson from Boston Planning and Development Agency. I'm here to request a postponement of 2 more weeks. We are still working on getting the release of easement from the T. We should have it in 2 weeks, though. We've made progress.
Great. April 11th, you think is good?
Yep.
2 weeks, okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Please.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Lee. I'm a resident of Chinatown, and I would just like to ask what the purpose of this discontinuance is on the one at Washington Street and Marginal Road, and what it's designed to facilitate.
Okay, so it's a development site. It's the one next to the Boston Chinese Evangelical Church. It's that site that the school's on, and we're getting it ready for development, hopefully with public purpose.
Getting what ready for redevelopment? Parcel A?
It's, yes, the one where the school is temporarily on right now, the temporary school, that site.
So this is adjacent to where the school trailers are?
It is the school trailers.
Oh,
that
so
site?
this is just as discontinuance?
The school
It's a-
trailers are on a remnant piece of
It's a paper street,
Oh.
essentially.
I
We're on
see.
the whole site. All right.
I see. So the trailers are on
The street.
a street,
The street network is not changing. This is cleanup of old paper streets.
street
that need
rights.
to
I
get-
see. So this is not an action related to development, but related to preparation for a development?
Yes.
Okay.
And it looks like a site right now. It's not, doesn't look like a road right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Other questions or comments? All right. I'll entertain a motion to continue this item until the April 11th meeting.
Make a motion to continue public hearing 3 until April 11th, 2019.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Our fourth item is on a petition by Level 3 for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Boston proper. The locations are Court Street, east of Court Square, east generally of the rear of 201 Washington Street, and Court Square, south of Court Street. This was new business on January 17, 2019, had its first public hearing on January 31st, 2019, had its first public hearing continued on February 28, 2019, and this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, 201 Washington Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated July 23rd, 2018.
Yes.
Morning, please.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Shelley Cullen, and I'm representing Level 3. And last time I was here for the amended grant of location, which is next on the agenda, we were asked to move the manhole out of the center of the road. So we've done that, put it down by the curb.
Great. So it would be in essentially the parking lane on Court Square, which I think was
Correct.
Ed's concern.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, can you see that? You want me to bring it closer?
As long as, this is how far off from the curb line is it?
Yeah, Todd has those.
Okay.
Yeah, so we,
Okay, on
it
the
was
far
up
far
here.
side curb, got it.
It was kind of like right in the middle. Well, first it was
Yep.
near Steen.
Got
then
it.
we moved it to the middle.
Perfect, so we moved it to the, basically the school building side of the,
Yes.
or the city building side. Okay. Other questions or comments on this item? Amir Todd, members of the public? All right, I appreciate your flexibility in moving first the manhole cover onto Court Square and then moving it closer to the curb.
problem.
We appreciate that.
Very well reviewed little segment.
I will entertain a motion on this item.
Make a motion to approve a petition by Level 3 for a grant of location as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, grant of location plan, 201 Washington Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated July 23rd, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Excellent, thank you.
Our next item is on a petition by, moving on to public hearing. Our first item is on a joint petition by Level 3 Communications and Verizon New England, Inc. to amend a grant of location to install new telecommunication fiber in existing conduit within the following public ways in Boston proper. Court Street, generally between Court Square East and State Street / Washington Street, and State Street, generally between Court Street, Washington Street, and Congress Street, and Devonshire Street. This was new business on March 14th, 2019, and this is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Amended Grant of Location Plan, Court Street, Boston, 1 sheet dated February 27th, 2019.
Excellent. So this is, we're working on a license agreement to amend this grant of location as well with Mr. Liu, and this is basically to get us to what you just approved. So there's 2 segments. We have the license agreements already from Verizon, and we just have to amend their existing grant of location to include Level 3.
A minor thing, which I realize that there's no reason you would have updated it, but for this, but just to confirm, this manhole cover is closer to the
Correct,
insect.
yes.
Right. Other questions or comments on this? Amir Todd? Exactly. Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by Level 3 Communications and Verizon New England, Inc. to amend a grant of location on Court Street and State Street as read into the record by the chair, and as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Amended Grant of Location Plan, Court Street, Boston, 1 sheet dated February 27th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on to our next public hearing item on a joint petition by Haymarket Parcel 9 Investor LLC and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation for the discontinuance of any and all rights to travel the public may have had within a portion of North Street, a public way in Boston proper, located on its northwesterly side between Blackstone Street and Fitzgerald Surface Road. This was new business on March 14th, 2019, and this is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Discontinuance Plan, North Street, 99 Blackstone Street, Boston proper, 1 sheet dated October 10th, 2018. Rebecca.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Rebecca Lee. I'm with the law firm of Mintz. We represent Haymarket Parcel 9 Investor LLC, which is the developer and planned ground lessee of Massachusetts Department of Transportation, the owner of Central Artery Parcel 9. This leftover parcel is going to be transformed into a multi-story hotel with the Hilton brand. And to my left is Yvette Tetro, the project manager for CV Properties, the developer affiliate, and Deborah Danek from Niche Engineering, our civil engineer. With us also is Mark Boyle from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, the co-petitioner, and Guy Busa, the transportation consultant for the project. We're here on 2 discontinuances, 1 surface and 1 subsurface, and I'll let Deb describe a little more of the details.
Great.
She also has a site plan of the project as requested to reorient you to how it is laid out.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca. Again, I'm Deborah Danek. I'm with Niche Engineering. So we're here to request a highway discontinuance for a portion of North Street on the northwest side. As shown on the site plan, in order to construct the new building and have emergency egress from the building, we've gotten to a spot where we need to install a platform in order to allow egress out of an emergency door here. So we are proposing to discontinue a portion of North Street in order to allow the platform to happen within this area. The platform actually has 2 different elevations in order to react to the elevation change on North Street. There's the surface road is higher and you work your way down at a decent slope down to Blackstone Street. So pedestrians will be able to enter the platform at grade from the top. There will be a couple stairs there, so those that need it can go back out and enter through the middle as well at grade to a flat area, as well as there'll be some basically cheek walls that can be used for seating if people want.
Questions or comments on this discontinuance? Mayor Todd? Members of the public? All right. Entertain a motion on the discontinuance.
Make a motion to approve a joint petition by Haymarket Parcel 9 Investor LLC and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation for discontinuance of any and all rights of travel the public may have had within a portion of North Street as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Discontinuance Plan, North Street, 99 Blackstone Street, Boston proper, one sheet dated October 10th, 2018.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Moving on to our next item, on a joint petition by Haymarket Parcel 9 Investor LLC and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation for the vertical discontinuance of a portion of the John F. Fitzgerald Surface Road, a public way in Boston proper, located on its southwesterly side, generally between North Street and Hanover Street, vertically below the grade of the sidewalk. This was new business on March 14th, 2019, and this is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Vertical Discontinuance Plan, John F. Fitzgerald Surface Road, 99 Blackstone Street, Boston proper, one sheet, dated January 8th, 2019.
Thank you again. I'm Deborah Danik with Niche Engineering. We're here to request a discontinuance for a portion of Surface Road and just a portion of the vertical underground airspace. This is in order to enable the building to be constructed. The proposed parcel is located partially over existing MassDOT underground tunnels to get to Interstate 93. So in order for the building to be built and not weigh inappropriately on those tunnels, we have a building footing that we're requesting to project over the current property line. It's about 28 square feet in plan and a little over 100 cubic feet of volume that we're requesting be discontinued in order for the building footing.
So that's completely below grade?
Correct. Completely below grade.
And obviously Mark is supportive. Yes. MassDOT supportive, great. Yes. Other questions or comments? Mayor Todd? Okay. Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by Haymarket Parcel 9 Investor LLC and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation for discontinuance on North Street, as read into the record by the chair, and shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Discontinuance Plan, North Street, 99 Blackstone Street, Boston proper, one sheet, dated October 10th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to our next item, on a petition by Hamilton Realty Limited Partnership for the making of specific repairs within Brighton Avenue, Brighton, located on its northerly side at address numbers 45-55, generally across from Fordham Road, consisting of curb and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated specialty pavement, street lighting infrastructure, street trees, irrigation infrastructure, bike racks, and driveway curb cuts. This was new business on March 14th, 2019, and this is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 45-55 Brighton Avenue, Alston, 2 sheets dated November 16th, 2018.
Good morning. My name is James Downing from Howard Stein Hudson. I'm joined this morning by Steve Whiting from the Hamilton Company. We're here to present the specific repair plan for the project at 4555 Brighton Ave. The project entails construction of a new 6-story building with retail on the ground floor, with 76 units, residential units above. There will be below grade parking for 175 vehicles. The improvements within the public way include sidewalk reconstruction, new street trees, and then porous pavers and bike racks within the furnishing zone. Be happy to answer any questions the Commission has.
One piece that came up new business was just thinking about the bus lane and the implications of the bus lane. I think there's been some subsequent conversation, particularly related to the curb cut. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
I think our preference is to have it be 20 feet rather than 24 feet. Can you walk through sort of why you were seeking 24 feet in this particular case?
Sure.
Or Guy?
Thank you. Guy Busa with Howard Stein Hudson. Yeah, we had the 24 feet proposed, the 24-foot proposed curb cut is there because it's a 175 space garage. And it also is there to handle single-unit box trucks of up to 36 feet in length. That the delivery area and trash pickup area is inside the building. They use the same garage. And we looked at the turning movements on that, and we feel that the 24 feet is needed. There was some back and forth with Matt Moran at BTD, and Eddie Hesford asked us to keep the 24 feet. And I know he's out today, so that's where we landed with that.
Yeah. I think we can vote contingent on sort of figuring out the final, whether it's 24 or 20. We can just continue those conversations
Yes.
separate from this.
Right.
Other questions or comments on the specific repair plan?
Yeah, what are the circles with the S's inside them on the plan, very close to the building? Is that a sewer manhole?
That is correct, yep.
Public sewer?
Private,
Private sewer. So
Correct.
that's from the building?
yes.
It's the service? Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple services that we're tying together using those structures to have one lateral line going into the street.
Got it. Okay.
Other questions or comments? Amir Todd? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on this item again, contingent upon sort of final approval from BTD on the width of the actual curb cut.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Hamilton Realty Limited Partnerships for making of specific repairs within Brighton Avenue, as read into the record by the chair and shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 45 through 55 Brighton Avenue, Alston, 2 sheets dated November 16, 2018, contingent on the final design of the curb cut. Or approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is on a petition by All Saints Development LLC for the acceptance of pedestrian easements adjacent to the following public ways in South Boston: Old Colony Avenue on its northeasterly side at address numbers 200 to 204 between Lark Street and Cottage Street, and Lark Street on its southwesterly side southeast of Frederick Street, and Frederick Street on its northwesterly side northeast of Lark Street. This was new business on March 14, 2019. And this is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Pedestrian Easement Plan, Old Colony Avenue, Lark Street, and Frederick Street, South Boston, 1 sheet, dated March 7, 2019.
Good morning. James Downing, Howard Stein Hudson, joined this morning by
Patrick Mahoney, Principal of All Saints, with an address of 160 Federal Street.
here to present the specific repair plan for the project at 200 Old Colony Ave, and also the pedestrian easements.
Yep.
The project pertains to the construction of a new 6-story building with educational space on the ground floor, but also with at-grade parking, access off Frederick Street, above which 49 residential units will also be constructed. The improvements within the right-of-way include new sidewalk reconstruction along Old Colony, Frederick, and Lark Street. Also, the inclusion of porous pavers and bike racks within the furnishing zone. Since the last time we were here, we did speak with BTD, spoke with John and Steph about relocating the bike racks up against from the facade of the building into the furnishing zone, and they were okay with that.
Great. My understanding is there may still be some outstanding questions related to the pedestrian easement to work through with the Commissions for Persons with Disabilities.
Correct.
Okay. And you guys have some ongoing conversations there?
Yes.
Great. Okay. And you don't see any challenges in meeting their needs and the needs that Sarah has outlined?
No, we're basically recessing the ground floor of the building to provide a 5 feet of clear path of travel on all streets, essentially. Hence the reason why we're granting the easements on those streets.
Yeah, so there might be some tweaks to the easement as was shown today, but as long as you're okay with whatever the Commissions for Persons with Disabilities lands on, we can vote contingent.
Yeah.
Sure.
Great. All right. Other questions or comments on the pedestrian easements? No. Amy or Todd? Sarah? Good. All right. Members of the public? All right. I'll entertain a motion on this item, again, contingent upon final approval by the Commissions for Persons with Disabilities.
Make a motion to approve a petition by All Saints Development LLC for the acceptance of pedestrian easements as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Pedestrian Easement Plan, Old Colony Avenue, Lark Street, and Frederick Street, South Boston, 1 sheet dated March 7, 2019, contingent upon final approval from the Office of Commission of Disabilities.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Moving on to our next item, on a petition by All Saints Development LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in South Boston, consisting of curb, sidewalk, and pedestrian ramp reconstruction, as well as new and relocated specialty pavement, street lights, street trees, bike racks, and driveway curb cuts. Locations are Old Colony Avenue on its northeasterly side, at address numbers 200 to 204 between Lark Street and Cottage Street, and Lark Street on its southwesterly side, southeast of Frederick Street, as well as Frederick Street on its northwesterly side, northeast of Lark Street. This was new business on March 14th, 2019, and this is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Old Colony Avenue, Frederick Street, and Lark Street, 200 to 204 Old Colony Avenue, South Boston, 2 sheets dated January 24th, 2019. Do you want to just quick overview of the specific repairs? I know you talked about them briefly a moment ago, but just highlight the specific repair plan.
Sure. The sidewalk reconstruction along Old Colony Ave will include new concrete sidewalks, porous pavers in the furnishing zone with bike racks, and also new street trees.
Thank you again for working with Stephanie and John on the location of the bike racks. Appreciate that.
Same thing, sewer and drain, private?
Correct.
Sewer and drain in the, we should try to avoid that in the future, putting these castings in a brand new sidewalk, if possible. I just don't want to make a habit of it.
Yeah.
Reconstructing beautiful sidewalks with castings.
With castings on. Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain the motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by All Saints Development LLC for the making of specific repairs in Old Colony Avenue, Lark Street, and Frederick Street, as read into the record by the chair. And as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Old Colony Avenue, Frederick Street and Lark Street, 200 through 204 Old Colony Avenue, South Boston, 2 sheets dated January 24th, 2019.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Great. Thank you.
The next public hearing item is on a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Boston proper. Essex Street, generally at Lincoln Street. Lincoln Street, generally between Essex Street and Beach Street. Tuff Street, between Lincoln Street and South Street. South Street, generally at Tuff Street / East Street. And East Street, generally between South Street and Atlantic Avenue, as well as Atlantic Avenue between East Street and Neyland Street, generally between Atlantic Avenue and South Street. This was new business on March 14, 2019, and this is shown on a set of plans entitled the City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Crown Castle, Proposed Conduit Placement Plan, Essex, Tufts, East, South, Neyland, Lincoln Street, and Atlantic Avenue. Boston, 7 sheets dated September 2018.
Good morning. Chris Murray with the Giamatti Group representing Crown Castle. On this particular project, a couple things came up at the new business meeting. One was that Mike Nelson had requested that we provide as-built as they have a project coming up later in the year. So I've talked to the engineering team and the project team, and they will make note of that and make sure that you get that information. And you also had mentioned that Beach Street was being reconstructed soon, and if we could get that done at the earliest, we'll try to make that happen. One other issue came up was Viola. We've been in contact with them about where we're crossing them at one location. They're actually here, and we've been in contact with them just to make sure that we protect our facilities accordingly when we do that crossing.
Where exactly is the crossing?
It's down
by your plant. Got it. And you feel good about the way in which that will be done so that there's no damage to either
It looks
infrastructure?
like from the drawings that we went back and forth and before were okay at that point in time. It looks like there was an expansion of scope that included those crossings.
Okay.
So we just made note of it back to them and said, we're concerned about it, but we'll work with them to make sure that, they get what they need in order for them to be able to protect themselves in that respect.
Got it.
Who are you representing?
Veolia, I'm sorry, Pat Haswell from Veolia. Thank you.
Thank you. And you mentioned Beach, just to make sure, we feel good that you'll be in before our construction starts, or that we'll be able to do it together. Have we had those coordinated conversations between Public Works and your project?
Soon, so
Yes.
It's about how swiftly you can.
Yeah, I think we can get out there as soon as the moratorium's lifted.
Yep. Got it.
You just have to go through Eddie for traffic and.
Got it. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. However, we can be helpful. We just want to make sure that we are not tearing up either what you already
Correct.
did or that you're tearing up what we already did. So, okay. All right. Other questions or comments on this? No. Amir Todd? Members of the public? All right. Entertain a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Crown Castle, Proposed Conduit Placement Plan, Essex, Tufts, East, South, Nealand, Lincoln Street, and Atlantic Ave, Boston, 7 sheets dated September 2018. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our next item is on a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Boston proper: Columbus Avenue, generally between Massachusetts Avenue and West Canton Street; Claremont Park, between Columbus Avenue and Claremont Street. This was new business on March 14, 2019. And this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Crown Castle, Proposed Conduit Placement Plan, Columbus Avenue and Claremont Park, Boston, 9 sheets dated November 2018.
Morning. Chris Murray again with the GMRA Group representing Crown Castle. This particular job is about 2,700 feet, primarily micro-trenching. The only issue that came up at new business a couple weeks ago was there was concern that we may be going through cobblestones.
Yep.
After closer inspection of the plan set, it appears that we're going next to the cobblestones as was suggested by the commission, so that shouldn't be an issue. And we'll also work, I talked to the design team about potentially moving some of the handholds that were in the street to sidewalk areas. So we'll try to make that correction, and when we turn in the Mylar prints, that should be taken into account for.
What sort of handhold cover do you use when it's in the sidewalks?
Typically, depending on the section, it's typically a 1x2
Yep.
rectangular cover,
Is it
which is
metal?
an assist point.
Yep.
But if we need to splice in that hole, it would be a larger structure.
But the actual, if it's in the sidewalk, do you use a composite? Is it metal, or what do you typically?
It would have to be road rated as well, because it's so close to the curb.
Should be composite in the sidewalk.
Right. So if we just can make sure, because
It's like a quasi.
Yep.
Okay, great. Good. Other questions or comments? Amir Todd?
Okay.
Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Make a motion to approve a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Crown Castle, Proposed Conduit Placement Plan, Columbus Avenue and Claremont Park, Boston, 9 sheets dated November 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our next item is on a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Charlestown: Chestnut Street, generally between Mount Vernon Street and Monument Square, and Monument Square, generally between Chestnut Street and Tremont Street / Lexington Street. This was new business on March 14, 2019. And this is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, 63 Chestnut Street, Monument Square, Charlestown, 1 sheet, dated February 27, 2019.
Hello, Chris Murray again with GMRA Group representing Crown Castle. This particular project is about 500 feet in length, also mostly micro-trenching. The only issue that come up was Eddie Hesford had asked us to wait until after the Bunker Hill Parade.
Yep.
So I've addressed that with the program team, and they don't think that'll be a problem. And that we're also going to move some of the handholds into the sidewalk where possible.
Great, appreciate that. I think we confirmed this before. This does not cross the Freedom Trail. It is north of the Freedom Trail. Is that right? Yeah. Other questions or comments? Amir Todd?
We're good.
Members of the public? All right. I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Crown Castle Fiber for a grant of location at Chestnut Square and Monument Square, as written to the record by the chair, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, grant of location plan, 63 Chestnut Street, Monument Square, Charlestown, 1 sheet dated February 27, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, our first item is 500 Rutherford Ave, Hood Park Drive, Stack Street, Supertest Street, Charlestown, layout approval, specific repairs on a set of petitions by Hood Park LLC.
Good morning. My name is Mark Rosenshine, Trademark Partners, representing Hood Park LLC, owner of the property. I'm joined by Paula Devereaux with Pierce Atwood, Brian Lawler from SMMA, Guy Busa from Howard Stein Hudson, and Scott Bard from SMMA. A very quick overview, Hood Park is a 20-acre campus. We have recently gone through a master plan and permitting process through the BPDA in the community. It is the former Hood Distribution Center and is therefore an industrial building surrounded by a parking lot and driveways. As part of our master plan process, the idea was to create urban streets and an urban grid for a 7-building campus that connects to the Charlestown streets and allows for and affords the opportunity for the extension of those streets to future development behind us and to our north and south. I'll allow the rest of the team to do the technical part, but we're very excited to be turning what is a formerly industrial site into a part of the neighborhood.
And it is the intent to make these streets private ways open to public travel, so they have been designed in accordance with the city standards for streets and complete streets as well.
Great. Thank you, Brian.
So Brian, you want to go through what the streets are?
Yes, so my name is Brian Lawler, engineer with SMMA. So let me give you a quick overview of the street layouts. So you have this plan in front of you. You will see that there are 3 petitions. So just to give you orientation, this is at Rutherford Ave, along the base of the building. This is the Massport right-of-way, also known as D Street, and this is the intersection here with Spice Street. So we are talking about the Hood Park property like so. So we have proposed 3 rights-of-way, private streets open to public travel, and they are Hood Park Drive, located here, and I will show you an enlargement of that plan. Stack Street, which runs from Hood Park Drive to the proposed Supertest Street. So it runs from here to here. And then the third one is Supertest Street, which runs like so. Again, intersecting at Rutherford Ave. So the layout of Hood Park Drive, again, extending from the westerly property line out to Rutherford Ave, shown like so. Westerly property line out to Rutherford Ave. So a full streetscape has been included for Hood Park Drive. It's got a 59-foot right-of-way. Everything is proposed to city standards, and we have, obviously, as part of the petition, we've reached out to all of the city departments. We think we have incorporated most of the comments. We have some additional comments which we received from EIC staff in the last few days, but all of the department comments have been addressed in the application.
Brian, one quick note on this, perhaps one for Andy or Todd. The angle on the bump outs, the bump out at Hood Park Drive and Rutherford Ave.
Yeah, it should be radiuses.
Okay, great. If you guys make that adjustment. It seems like across the board.
Right.
There are some of, no, sorry, on actually the southern side of the street. I think
Okay.
it's southern side.
Yep.
See how it takes a sharp 90-degree angle to the parking lane?
Yeah, it should be a reverse curve.
Okay.
Just from a maintenance perspective, it becomes an impossibility, at least for just.
Their maintenance.
No, exactly.
We'll appreciate it.
Appreciate the heads up.
Yes.
You also have similarly, we can walk through what radiuses we use, but you have some 5-foot radiuses in places I think we typically use.
Yeah, so we'll give them our standards and,
We can make those adjustments.
And you'll find it more useful for folks who are clearing those areas.
Sure.
Very good.
I think the one thing I just will note while we're talking about Hood Park Drive and sort of this, that's the one we're building now. As we've had the staff conversation, some of these are paper streets as part of a future development. Hood Park is designed the way it is because that's the one we're going to build right away. We have met with Paul Dong on a number of occasions, the fire department, worked through with them the hammerhead conditions, the turn radiuses, so that is fully vetted with the fire department and has his consent.
Could you walk me through a timeline for construction for?
Absolutely. So we're actually under construction in 480, the residential building at the corner of Rutherford and Hood Park Drive today. We're under construction on the parking garage adjacent to it, and we're under construction on the first portion of Hood Park Drive, which is between 480 and the street today. The goal will be to open the parking garage in January 1st, 2020. And so obviously that street would be completed and fully built at that time. And then we've just been approved as part of our master plan and would expect to pull a building permit for 10 Stack Street, which is the office building adjacent to it. On the north side of Hood Park Drive, we'd like to start construction on that in October. So the goal will be to have Hood Park Drive ready and finished for the opening of the residential building and the garage, prepped for the office building. We would then build the first section of Stack Street directly in front of the office building as part of that. Then we get into a little complexity because there exists a building today here that has a lease in it through 2023. So Stack Street can't be finished all the way to the intersection. There'll be a temporary sort of way to manage it through the parking until we get to the point where we can take that one-story building down. Then we would build out the completion of Stack Street and Supertest. So call it a 5-year plan starting right now, but extending through 2023.
A lot of construction on this, in this area.
A lot of construction.
So exactly to that point, I assume you guys had a number of conversations with the BTD team about the Rutherford Ave. Okay, great.
We have for the last several years been coordinating with them on the Rutherford Sullivan Square process, and that conversation, we're well aware of what Encore Casino and their work on D Street. We're also in the middle of a conversation with Massport about crossings and the Federal Rail Administration, Spice Street. So we're in the middle of all of those discussions.
We're going to be coming through with new water mains as well to help, protect the growth, so.
There's a complicated problem with a water meter that's on the wrong side of Spice Street for us now and Massport. So there's a number of things we're working through there. It's a complicated little part of the world.
Yes. And the good news is after all this investment, it's going to be a massively transformed corridor.
I've lived in Charlestown for 20 years. I'm very excited about what this means for that part of Charlestown.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
As we went through the full streetscape is proposed for Hood Park Drive, but for Stack Street and Supertest, the petition is for the layout of the right of way. So basically, we are showing the curb lines and the width of the right of way. So Stack Street again extending from Hood Park Drive to the proposed intersection with Supertest, like so. Again, a 59-foot right-of-way allows us to design everything to city standards. And then finally, Supertest, again, running from the western property line, extending all the way out to Rutherford Ave. And this has this has a 67-foot right-of-way to allow parallel parking east of the intersection with Stack Street.
I think you talked to us, but can you walk us through the naming? Why Stack? Why Supertest?
Sure.
So Hood Park Drive, I guess, is the obvious one. Stack Street is a reference to, as you know, in Charlestown, the stack on the backside is a highly visible and iconic thing, and we wanted to reference that. And if you're familiar with the former Hood and the products, there used to be a huge sign on top of the building, and it was Hood Milk Super Test, was sort of their marketing brand. And so we wanted to refer to and respect the history of the site. And as you know, in Charlestown, historic stuff is very important. And so we felt that was a great way to sort of recognize the Hood history, even though Hood is no longer located on campus. It's worth noting there's a private driveway that also has a name called Half Pint Way. So we're trying to just, have a little fun with that. That's good.
So the stack and super test, they'll come back with what they're gonna fill it with. We just kind of wanted to define the roadway and parcels and figure out where utilities will be.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
And again, in discussions with Paul and Amy over the last few days, we've also been asked to file a specific repair plan for the intersections at Rutherford Ave. So we will submit that for
that way.
In the interim, we need access.
So that will be filed in the next week or so also.
With 500 Rutherford Ave, so basically the way in which people will be accessing that site is through the sort of a curb cut and pull in off of Hood Park Drive. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. And then any sort of loading needs and things like that would be done.
So the current loading for 500 is actually off of what will be Super Test now. It's on the north side of the building, not the south side, so that will remain. And then as part of working out the Super Test details, we would figure out the loading and manage that once we got to that level of detail. There's no intention to change the 500 buildings organization, so we'll work through that when we get to Super Test.
Other questions or comments? Namir Todd?
Other than our construction management division has asked that they go to Katie Cho to talk about what the resiliency requirements will be here, just to know that if any of it's going to bubble into a street, that we're not including that.
Perfect. One thing to, which I think is probably all within 500 Rutherford Ave, but if you can look at, we hope to significantly improve all the bike infrastructure along Rutherford Ave itself. If you can see how to incorporate bike racks of some sort, either on the property or on the road, that would be, or in the furnishing zone, that'd be great.
So we're committed to, we'll have a hubway station on campus, and we're doing that as part of our master plan. We show a lot of biking infrastructure.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Great, very helpful. Great. All right, see you guys in 2 weeks, does that work?
That's right.
All right, until then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item of new business is Maverick Street, Brook Street, White Street, Lexington Street, Prescott Street, Princeton Street, Saratoga Street, Bennington Street in East Boston, a granted location on a petition by Crown Castle Fund.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Mike Puccini. Brian Shanley, good morning. We're the UC Synergetic, petitioning on behalf of Crown Castle. We're here to petition the committee for grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunications and electrical conduit with city shadow on various streets in East Boston. Conduit will require traditional trench and microduct. Page 1 is the overview, and the subsequent pages are the details. Have any questions? Just
ask which
address them as we go.
There's no existing conduit to be able to access the.
Correct. We've done due diligence
and you said most of it's gonna be micro trench. Is that right?
page 2. We have the top 2 sections there, Brook Street. That's all traditional trenching. Extends from White Street down to Trenton Street.
How many new antennas is this?
Excuse me?
How many new antennas is this leading to?
This will be servicing 4.
The handhold is essentially, you have it right in the middle of the intersection of Brooks and White on the second pitch.
Yeah.
Just thinking about, and I'm sure that Eddie will have some comments on this, but I think we'd want to adjust that so it's not in the middle of the intersection, so in case you
Yeah,
disturb that, we're not shutting down those two
I
lanes.
worked with Sarah on that and got it moved.
Moved?
Like
Okay.
2 foot.
All right, so for
crosswalk, yeah.
the public hearing, we can just shift it so it is neither blocking a crosswalk nor sitting in the middle of the intersection.
Okay, okay.
These have all been approved by Boston Water and Sewer already?
Yep, they're all stamped.
We'll be required to submit as-built for all this work to
Okay.
us. Had a conversation with Crown Castle yesterday. I'm gonna
Moving
make sure
forward
that
and-
this is actually the location that they end up in.
Okay.
We've already had problems in this neighborhood, so from now on, everything requires as-built.
Okay.
Other questions or comments on this? Amir Todd, members of the public? All right, see you guys in 2 weeks, does that work?
Thank you very much.
Until April 11th. Our next item is 115 Newbury Street, Clarendon Street, Public Alley, number 435, Boston proper, granted location on a petition by TC Systems, Inc.
Okay, good morning. Chris Murray with Giamari Group representing TC Systems. Looking for a grant location on Newbury Street and Public Alley, number 435. We solicited participation, and as of yet, we haven't had any responses to join in with the construction. We plan on providing city shadow conduit along the whole run, which is expected to be about 400 feet of conventional trench. One thing to note on these plans is that under further review, we found that we can potentially shorten the project by about 75 to 100 feet. In this particular area here, we found out that we have a manhole in this intersection here that we can go into eliminating this part here.
So you'd be going from there to the alley?
Correct. So that'll shorten the project by, I don't know, something, a little over 100 feet, I guess. We'll have those plans amended prior to meeting in 2 weeks.
To make that turn from Clarendon onto the alley, you don't need a handhold? You can just make that turn?
Correct.
Other questions or comments on this? Amir Todd? Members of the public? All right, see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our final item of new business is Charles Street, Boston proper, a grant of location on a petition by Exnet Systems, Inc.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, Ricardo Souza from Prince Bell Tie here on behalf of the petitioner Exnet Systems, and to my left is John Morrison from UCS Systems, engineer of record. Commissioners, this involves a grant location for a dig on Charles Street. essentially the section in between the Public Garden and the Boston Common. It ties into our node known as BBH 25, which was approved by both Boston Parks and Recs Department after about a 1.5-year process, and also by the Landmarks Commission. We've included both of those approvals as part of our application or our petition. And we also converted the dig itself to micro-trenching because it is fairly long and because of its location as well. We're happy to answer any other questions that you might have as well.
It'd be interesting, with the handle that you're proposing that essentially is near the public garden entrance, it'd be useful to think through whether we actually would prefer that on the sidewalk rather than in the travel lane. Okay. Just sort of think that through between now and, because you're going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't installed the antenna yet, right?
No, we have not.
Right. So if you're already going to be digging to install the antenna, it may just be easier to
put it on the sidewalk.
Put it on the sidewalk.
John, is that?
We'll reduce sort of the maintenance.
In general, we'd like the street.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you are tying into something that's within, I'm blanking on what that island is called, but the landscape island is at Charles and Beacon, is that right?
The landscape island, that's correct. That's where we are now. We have another node at that location.
Got it.
That's also been approved.
Do we Public Works, we Parks, I think Beacon Hill may maintain the island?
Oh, that traffic island, yes. Actually,
Yes.
they're looking to improve it. They came
Yes.
recently and want to do work on it.
To work on it. And remind me, just want to make sure we do the right notification with, sure, I think there's a very active neighborhood organization
I
with
think it's the Community Home.
Civic Association or?
One of their associations, I can come up with the one that's trying to actively.
That'd be great, just so you're aware, just so.
Okay.
Just so they're aware of the work that's happening and.
Understood. Yeah, it's probably both the Civic Association and also the Architectural Commission as well. Yeah. Our node, our other node, the BBH 25, is not within their jurisdiction. That's actually Landmarks Commission, just because
it's on
the public garden.
Exactly right.
That's right.
Other questions or comments? Any on top? Strong or sorry? Members of the public? All right, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners.
With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.